Road construction in Nigeria has been a classic concern to everyone over the past 2 decades as poor infrastructure continues to disrupt supply chains and drag economic competitiveness. In a recent report published by research firm Proshare titled The Consequence of Poor Road Quality, it's estimated that Nigeria's poor road networks have dampened the annual gross domestic product by as much as $448.1 billion in real terms as at 2019 and $350 billion as of the first quarter of 2020. But what are the possible alternatives before the policymakers to address the seemingly unending infrastructure deficit? I have the chief economist and the managing editor of Proshare Nigeria, Mr. Teslim Shitta-Bey, who joins us now in the studio to drill down on this issue. Good morning, Mr. Shitta-Bey. Thank you for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Now, I'll start by asking you, what were some of the developments that led to this research report?
Okay, I think you attached some significance to the reasons behind the report when you mentioned earlier that it was adversely affecting Nigeria's GDP, right? And GDP normally also comes with other consequences such as reduction in employment. And currently we know that we have a very young population that is unemployed. The unemployment rate is recently estimated at about 27%. Right? So we looked at it and said, look, what really can we do at the area of infrastructure to analyze the problems and challenges and see if we can come up with some solutions that will improve our construction system and at the same time improve employment, right? Because one of the largest employers of labor is actually the construction sector, right? Oil and gas is good, but it really doesn't employ so many people. There are a lot of value chains in the construction business, and that will assist us in reducing those unemployment figures. So we felt this was the right time to intervene in that space, look at what is happening in road construction in particular, and then see how we can come up with some practical solutions that will resolve those road construction problems and at the same time improve our ability to produce. Production is adversely affected currently. I mean, it takes 48 hours for you to be able to clear goods from the Apapa ports. And that's massive, especially when you're looking at competition with other countries along the West Coast.
So what are some of the findings that you had in putting this report together?
Okay, the most maybe prominent thing that we discovered was that Nigerian roads are pretty expensive to construct. I mean, everybody has said it. The World Bank standard is that a kilometer of road should be about 238 billion naira. The average Nigerian road, I can tell you, costs much more than that, right? We're looking at about 1 trillion naira. And that's, in other words, we are about 4 times the World Bank's recommendation.
And so why is it so expensive?
Well, there are factors, and I don't like the expression Nigerian factor. I mean, let's put it as it is. Corruption is an issue that is global, right? It's not exclusive to Nigeria. But there is a corruption premium built into the cost of roads, right? And that has severely escalated the cost of construction. That's number one. Number two, there's the issue of the problems at the ports. Okay, so the problems we have at the ports escalates costs, and several other social factors also escalates these costs. And so, unfortunately, we are where we are. But can we do anything about it? That's where we come in and we say, yes, we can do something about it. And as we go on, we perhaps will talk about those things because we're looking at, okay, can we use other alternative materials to bring down the cost of construction? Can we use other methodologies to bring down the cost of production? Can we finance road construction in a more creative manner to ensure that we bring down cost of construction? So those are the things we looked at, really.
Yes, indeed. You've talked about an alternative, and then your argument is that concrete roads are more durable than asphalt. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. Traditionally, Nigeria has opted to take the route of using asphalt, bitumen, basically, processed bitumen with some aggregates to construct roads. And we said, is that the only way to construct roads? And if we use asphalt, what are the challenges that we typically see? I'm sure I had to drive to the studio this morning and it was pothole laden. The whole route had several potholes. And I said, gosh, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? One of the problems with asphalt is that it is not durable to weather changes. right? It has problems, especially if the sub-base, I don't want to go into engineering, but if the sub-base is not properly prepared and cured, then you're going to have severe problems with, especially in rainy climates where you have high levels of rainfall. Then you'll see that the roads become eroded very quickly. And unfortunately for Nigeria, in the process of construction, our sub-base is usually weak. And that's because somebody somewhere is trying to cut a bit of a corner, right? And in doing that, he compromises the quality of the road, and that translates into all the difficulties. Transport costs escalate because it takes longer to move from point A to point B, and all other things come in. Food prices in urban centers also escalate. So there's a variety of challenges that occur as a result of using asphalt. Is asphalt bad? No. I need to point out that very early. If you go to Garki in Abuja, we've had roads that are 38 years old. And those roads are quite good. And they're still motorable. Okay? If you go to Wuse in Abuja too, okay? Area 1, 2, and I think 5. If you go there, the roads are quite good, very motorable.
How about here in Lagos and other parts of the country?
Well, that's a clever question. That's a really clever question. Yes, in Lagos, we do have some areas that have asphalt roads, okay, constructed, and they have proven durable. Perhaps not as durable as Abuja, and there's a reason. And the reason is the soil type, okay? It's soil type and topology. Now, topology meaning the curvature of the surface of the roads. Certain roads need to be prepared in a certain manner with asphalt for you to get optimal effect. But in any case, an asphalt road would perhaps last you from 15 to 20 years on average in a place like Lagos. But if you look at Abuja, it lasts much longer. Like I said, from 1982, you've had the Abuja roads, and that's because it's flat land. Okay? And, of course, they don't have the extremities of rain that we have in the south. So those things are very important. When you're preparing a road, you're looking at what those of us who are chemists will call pH. I'm not a chemist, but those who are chemists will call it a pH, right? And now the pH looks at the acidity and alkalinity of the soil. Okay, so if you're going to have a very acid soil, you want to have road materials that are heavy on alkaline. And if the road is alkaline, then you want a bit of more acid to balance the road so that you have a pH of about 7, which is fairly neutral. Because if you don't have that pH, when rains fall, it adversely affects the quality of the road and corrodes the road faster. So you said Lagos has major road challenges, no doubt about that. And that is why we're saying that in states like Lagos, in the southern parts of the country, we better start looking at alternative ways of constructing the roads with fresher ideas and concepts, such as what we've tried along Apapa to Ojota, which is using concrete.
Now, of course, concrete, now when you look at the cost of concrete and asphalt, which is more expensive, we believe that the concrete is more expensive. And you already mentioned that the costs of building these roads are, quite high. So how do we balance things out here?
That's an interesting question, actually. Let's look at it like this. I remember there was one ad some time ago on television, and it says, okay, if you're talking about the cost of education, then try the cost of ignorance, right? So it's like that. Concrete roads are going to be more expensive, no doubt about it. I think it'll be in the region of 10 to 15% more expensive than asphalt roads, okay? So definitely, from the get-go, you're concerned about expense. However, then when you're looking at it, you're not looking at the roads comparatively at a point in time, but over a period of time. Now, if we look at it over a period of time, you will see that it's actually cheaper. Why? Because a concrete road will take you for maybe 30 to 35 years. So you have an up of 10 years to 15 years on an asphalt road if you decide to use concrete. So if you look at it in terms of cost benefit, a concrete road, especially in the southern parts of the country, will take you much further at lower cost on average.
Now, Nigeria has 3 major manufacturers of cement who could provide, supply through for the concrete road construction value chain. And we have the Dangote Cement, we have Lafarge, we have Bois Cement. So what will patronage of these products from these companies imply for the capital market, for instance?
Okay, great. We've been complaining about our capital markets globally, as well as in Nigeria, haven't done too well in the last, let's say, half decade, right? Yes, if you look at it from the past, from 2011, It's actually grown 71%. But in the last 5 years, there has been a gradual slowdown in growth of the market. So if we decide to use concrete and the companies that you mentioned, the capital market will likely benefit majorly from this development. Why? Because turnover of sales will increase significantly for those different companies, okay? But for me, what is more important is that the quality of roads we get will be better. Now, because the quality of roads that we get are better, you're going to see that it's going to take you a lot shorter to get from point A to point B. And in Nigeria, we don't measure time. We don't really value a minute. So if you put a value to maybe an hour of your time that is saved over 365 days, it comes to quite a lot for companies and for individuals, right? So those kind of benefits come into the system from these three companies doing exactly what we hope will happen, increase their production and enable us to use concrete to manufacture or to create roads in the southern belt. And I keep emphasizing the southern belt because I think the northern belt might not do too badly with asphalt from what we're seeing in Abuja, as long as the engineering works are done properly. If they're done properly, we could manage asphalt. And why I said that also is that we have bitumen deposits in Nigeria. So why should we not use bitumen, you know, for roads if we have the deposits, right? From Osun down to Ondo, Ogun, Lagos, there are bitumen deposits all over, so that's good. However, while you say that for asphalt, look at it from the perspective of concrete. If you go to Sokoto, Bauchi, Gombe, and the east, Imo, Ebonyi, then come back to the west, you're going to see Ogun State, Kwara State, okay, Kogi State, you're going to see heavy deposits of limestone. So that also creates a value chain multiplier by using cement and turning it into concrete.
All right, I'd like to thank you for sharing your time with us, Chief Economist and Managing Editor of Proshare Nigeria, Mr. Teslim Shitta-Bey. Thanks for coming on the program.
It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you very much.